Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here, we successfully get all that our data. We successfully get all the data with the return response JSON, and we successfully load it in our add page, right? That means here it's now loaded, right? So now if you refresh this page, and if you select as any year, if you select as a class, if you select as a registration fee or the date, okay, and that means the month wise date, click as a search. So if they have any data, automatically this data will be loaded. So right now I want to insert this data. That means I want to insert this data. If you select it, and after that if you updated any amount, if you after that if you click as submit, then it will be inserted, right? So for the submit, I want to add one of the button. If you go there, and after that there is a table, right? So after that table, before that form I want to add one of the button. So that will be as a better, I want to use it outside of this script first then it will be actually give you my all that instruction. That is one of the button, and button I want to add that as a type. Button type will be as a submit. Okay, button type will be as a submit, and I put on the class as a btn, and I make it as a btn primary. And then I want to add one of the style. I want to add that as a margin top. Okay, margin, and then margin top, I want to use that margin top as a 10 pixel. Okay, I want to use that as 10 pixel, and then our name will be as a submit. So our name will be as a submit. So right now I cart it. Okay, cart it, and here into the after that our table, before that our form, in our script area I paste it. Okay friends, so that will be one of the submit form. Now I want to check it. Now click the save all, and now if you refresh it, and now if you search with the date, class, registration fee, and then the date, click the search. Yeah, you can see there is another button as a submit. Perfect. So right now if you make it as a check mark, that means the paid, and after that click as a submit, then this data will be inserted. So this data will be inserted in our which table? It will be inserted in our this account student fee table, right? So here I want to insert it. So if you want to insert it, so that is our route. So I have already created that route as an account fee store. If you go to web, so if you now go to that web, into the web area, so that is our account fee store. That is our store, and I name that method as a account student fee store in our student fee controller. So that will be one of the post method, right? Because of all here I name it. I name that will be as a one of the post method. So now I want to update as a post. Okay, that will be as a post. Perfect. Okay, that will be as a perfect. And then I want to create this method, so I have already created it. So that is our method. So if you want to use that as a post method, I think you already know we have to pass that as a request, and then the dollar request. That is our dollar request. So first of all, I want to get that our date, because that is the date I want to use it. So I want to use that as a date format, which I have discussed about that things before. So that is our take one of the variable, and then the date format. I want to format that date for the save, insert this as a year and the month. Okay, and then the start to time. Okay, with the start to time, I want to pass that our requested data. That means here I want to pass that request, and requested our date field. That means I pass it. So I pass all that our data. So here I pass it as a date. So that will be our date. That means our requested date, right? So I simply add it, and after that I want to insert this data in our this table, right? So that is our account and student fee. So for the account student fee, I have already created one of the model. So with this model we have to insert this data. So our this model name as a account student fee. So I copy it, and then that will be as a account student fee. So into the account student fee only we have to put some of the condition as a where our first of all that is our year ID. That means all that our year ID will be the same as a requested year ID right now, requested, and requested. If you go to our add page, so that is our requested year ID. That is actually requested year ID, right? So that will be the year ID. Perfect. And also I want to put another where condition for our another field. Our another field is a year ID and the class ID. So I copied it. That means that copy this one as a class ID. So class ID will be the same as a requested. That means the request. So with this request, our requested field name for the class ID as a class ID. So that will be as a class ID. Then also we have to put another one as a where. This simple condition actually. So where our database field name into the database field name, that is our free category ID. So now I copy it. So that will be as a free category ID, our requested free category ID. Requested our field name. Our field name I have already taken. That is a free category ID, and then there is a dat, right? Then that is actually our free category ID, and after that I put another one as a where our date, right? So maybe that is actually the same name. You can see there is a date. So date will be the requested date. So I simply pass it. So that will be as a requested date. Okay, that will be as a requested date. I hope, friend, it's very much clear to you, right? So after that, when it should be matched, first of all I want to delete it, because here I want to also add that our get and the edit position. So for the reasons I first of all as a delete. Okay, that is a delete data. So when you updated anything, automatically first of all it should be delete this data, then it should be insert it again. Okay, and insert this data will be the same. I take one of the variable and name it as a check data. Okay, so this type of one of the variable, and then our request, I pass that request, and I pass that request our which data. If you now go there and from to this position, you can see I pass one of the field. So that is our input field as a checkbox, and for the checkbox I name it as a check manager, right? So that is our check manager. So now I want to get this check manager, because when you actually select it, that means when it will be as a selected, that is our checkbox, right? So now I want to take this data. So that is this request. With this request, I want to use that this check manager. Okay, so I name that as a check manager. I simply take it. I take it with this variable as a check. That means a check data. So now I want to put one of the condition. So better I want to put one of the note for you. That is our AND method. Okay, that is our AND method, and after that I put one of the if condition. Okay, that is our if condition. I put that as a AND if. Okay, that is our AND if condition. And so now I want to use it. That means I take this our requested check manager data. This check manager data means actually this one is our text manager data. So our check manager data will be, I want to do when it should be not equal null. Okay, when it should be not equal null, then what exactly it should be do? Then it should do, I want to use that as a for loop, and with this for loop I want to insert all the data, right? So for the reasons here, after this I want to add as a for loop. So that will be as a for loop. So for the for loop I want to pass this our check data. So here that will be with the count. Okay, with this count I want to pass this variable data. Okay, so perfect. That means it should be looping all that our data, and it should be inserted this data. That means save this data. So after that I want to insert it in our which table. So I take as a data, and then take that object our this table as a account student fee. So here I want to insert it, right? That means I want to save all the data on here. So I just simply add it. I think, friend, you will understand every part, because that is very much easy, and we did that work before. So now it should be hard for you. So after that I want to insert all that our data. That means the data. So with this data I want to access our database field. Our database field here, our database field as a year ID. So that will be as a year ID with our same requested year ID, right? So that will be as a requested our same field, because I have already used that same name in all that requested field. You can see that is a requested field as a year ID. So now I want to use it. So that will be as a requested year ID. Okay, and then the same I want to better copy it, and then I paste some of the field. So first of all, that is year ID, and then our another one is a class ID. So I copy it, so that will be as a class ID, and then our requested class ID, so that will be just like that same. And then with this data I want to access our database field date. I copy it, so that will be as a date, and date will be what? Date will be our this date format, right? So now I take the things with this variable, so that will be our simple our this date. Okay friend, and then our another one as a free category ID. So I copy it, that will be as a free category ID. Free category ID will be our requested free category ID. If we go to our add page, and here there is our class ID, and you can see that means our requested field name as a free category ID. So now our this requested our free category ID. Perfect. And then also another one is the student ID. So I copy that student ID. So this student ID will be what? This student ID will be here from to this position. You can see I have also passed one of the input field, and I make it as a hidden, and I just name it as a student ID, and also it should be take that multiple data, right? So that means that is every student data. So that is a multiple data. So now I want to take it. So that is our student ID. Okay, so now I copy it, so that will be our request. That means the student ID will be our requested student ID, and this student ID will be check it should be check it as a checked or not. Okay, that means it should be check it with the check it or not. So for the check data I take that field, that means this field data I take it with this variable, and it should be also add that multiple one, because I have already added that our empty array, right? So here in the student ID, I just simply pass it. I pass our check, that means the check data, and in the check data it should be our this I, because here I uploaded that our for loop, so I simply add it. Okay, and then also from here we have to add that multiple amount. So for the amount field, that is our field name as a amount. I copy it, so that will be after that I make it as a amount. Okay, that means amount will be the same in the request, our requested amount. So our requested amount will be also here you can see I named that one of the text field as a amount field, and in the amount that is will be also the same as the empty array. So empty array means that will be just like that same, but I copy it, so that will be as a check data with this check data as a I. Okay, perfect. So friend, that's all. And after that I want to save it. That means with this data I want to save this data. Okay, I want to save this data in our account student fee table. Perfect. So that is our and for loop. Okay, that is our and for loop, and that is our and if condition. And after that if condition I want to put one of the another condition. Okay, I want to put another condition. I did that work before as a if condition, and into the if area when it should be not empty. Okay, empty, and into the empty area I want to pass that our this data. Okay, when it should be as a not empty, and that means here I want to is set with the at the rate. So at the rate I pass our data. Okay, so when this data will be as a equal not, and then empty our this checkbox. Okay, that means checkbox, that means check data. So that is our check data. So I simply pass it. That means when it should be as a not empty, or it's actually if the checkbox is empty, then it should be show some of the notification. That means data is inserted. Okay, so if you want to use that in notification, we did this a lot of the time with using the toaster. That is a toaster notification, right? I copy it. I copy total things from here, then it should be display one of the notification. Okay, so that will be notification will be whatever data you actually display. I name it as a well done data successfully. Okay, successfully inserted or updated. So this type of one of the message it should be display, and that will be one of the success message, and after that it will be returned redirect to our view page. I have already created one of the view page for the accounts as a student fee view. Right now I copy it, so that will be our this route. I hope it's very much clear to friend. So that is our route, and it will be return redirect to our this route with the notification. Else it will be go to the back page with the error message. I make it as else it will be display another things. Better I put that same notification. I copy it and here I paste it. Okay, so that is our array notification, and it will be display some of the message as a sorry data. Okay, right now I remove it, so as it should be displayed as sorry data not saved. This type of one of the message will be visible, and I make it as a arrow type. Okay, that will be as a arrow type, and then it should be return redirect to the same page. That means that is our back page, right? So then better I make it as a return redirect to the back page, and for the back page we don't need to put any route with that notification. Perfect. So that's all we have to do, right? So that's all we have to do. And then that is our AND method. Okay friends, so I just simply put that condition. It's everything okay, it will be inserted it, and it will be redirect to our this route, and else it will be displayed that error message. So if everything okay, it should be work. Rather than if you get any error, don't worry about it, we'll solve it. Okay, so that's all I want to do. So now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, I click as a save all. Now go there, now click as a refresh. So now I want to select one of the year, I want to select one of the class 1, select as a registration fee, select this month registration fee, click as a search. Right now our this month data is visible, all the student data is visible, right? And you can see it's automatically calculated our $3,000, I mean the $300 discount amount was a $500. Automatically it's now calculated that data and visible it, because here I have already updated that part. I have already updated this calculation, and I pass that data in on the final fee. Okay, so that is our calculation data. I think you already understand that part. So now I want to actually check out this store method. That means here I want to make it as a checkbox. I want to make it as a pay. Now click as a submit. So now it's showing one of the error. There's a trying to access array offset value of that type null. Okay, in our student fee controller. Into the student fee controller, here I did something wrong. So why? So that is actually our amount. That means our database field name as a amount, right? So it's perfect. And our requested amount means from to this position I pass it as a input type name. You can see I name it as an account on here. So here and here I am actually using that as an amount. So now it will be obviously as an amount. So now I want to update that part as an amount. Okay, amount value. So that is actually the pretty mistake. So that is our requested one, right? So that is our requested amount, and then our database field. Perfect. Now it should be work. Now click as a save all. And now, as I told you friend, if you face any error, don't worry about it, we will solve it. So now I refresh it again, and I select one of the year. I select class 1, registration fee, the date, search it. So that is our Abu Khan, and there is a student name as Ali Khan, right? So now I select it. That means I paid this student fee. That means this fee. Now click as a submit. Yes, you can see, well done, the data insert, that means well done, data successfully updated. And you can see friend, it's now perfectly return redirect to our view page, and it is the view page is now visible. Okay, that means this student actually add that fee. So that is ID number, name, year, class, registration fee I put as an amount also visible, and when this actually putting that date, so that is a date is visible. Okay, and now if you want to check it like in our database, if you now click the browse, yeah, is now successfully inserted that data. Okay friends, so right now if you want to add another one, and also if you want to check it, like I first of all check it, click as a select this one, class 1, registration fee, and then if you select it, click as a submit. That means our this month, you can see for this month that is actually selected because of all this student already paid. right? That means this student already paid this amount. For the reasons you can see it's now visible, it is perfectly now visible. So now I want to add another one for the class 2. Okay, now click as add and select as a 2000. Now I choose as a class 2 registration fee. I select this, click as a search. Now you can see there is a new one as a any. So for the any, I want to also make it as a check mark. That means I want to entry this data, click as a submit. Yeah, you can see there is a submitted data, there is a new one, this is any. So there is a 2000 class 2 registration fee amount, and there is a December, right? And also if you want to add another one as a 2000 class 3 registration fee or monthly fee, right now I select as a monthly fee for this month, click as a search. So right now there is a 2 as a Bella. So for the Bella you want to make it as a check mark, click as a submit. So now you can see well done, data successfully updated, and all the data is now updated, and you can see there is a fee type is now showing as a monthly fee. So our edit or delete is actually the same. If you want to update it, like I choose one, I want to update that class 1 as a 2000 class 1 registration fee. I want to check it for the December, click as a search. You can see that is actually selected. So now if you unmark it, that means unpaid, click as unmark, click as a submit it again. Now you can see well done, data successfully updated, and you can see it's totally now gone from here. Okay friends, so now it's totally gone from here. If you want to add it again, there is a 2000 class 1 registration fee for the Ali Khan. I make it as a selected. Now click as a submit. Yeah, it's now successfully submitted. Okay, that is a well done, data successfully updated. Perfect. So friend, we successfully complete our student fee list, right? I hope you enjoyed very much. So in our next video, I want to discuss about our another portion for the employee salary. That means that is actually our employee salary. We have successfully completed that student fee. So how can working with the employee salary, that will be just like that, our same concept, that will be not much hard for you. Okay. So that's all. So yeah, in our next video, I will discuss about that employee salary option. So how can do that work? I will step by step everything I will show you with a live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.